This episode of Inside the Game is powered by MSI Gaming. The game just got real. Head to our website at insidethegame.ca for all the details. What's up, everybody? We are Inside the Game, your one source for everything cool in video games. You could also be a part of this show by heading over to our site at insidethegame.ca, where there we feature one of your highlighted clips to end off each episode. Don't forget, you can also sub to our YouTube channel, hit us up on SoundCloud, Facebook, you know all the places. We got a jam-packed episode, so let's get started with the Inside Scoop. Sony's Jim Ryan is shaking things up for PlayStation, moving a couple people around, bringing a couple people in. We saw the disappearance of Sean Layden. No one really knows what happened to him, but now we're seeing Shuhei Yoshida drop down from Worldwide Studios and head up an independent studio's production side for PlayStation moving forward with the PlayStation 5. And coming in for Worldwide Studios is Herman Hulst. We mostly know him from, say, Killzone and, of course, Horizon Zero Dawn. One of the all-time classics now for PlayStation. With more PlayStation news, we know the PS5 is just around the corner, and Jim Ryan is looking for everybody to upgrade that PlayStation 4 as soon as possible to the PlayStation 5. In an interview with GameIndustry.biz, Jim Ryan was quoted, "As we move towards the next generation in 2020, one of our tasks, probably our main task, is to take that community and transition it from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5, and at a scale and pace that we never delivered on before." One thing that makes me particularly optimistic that we're hearing from developers and publishers is the ease in which they are able to get code running on the PlayStation 5 is way beyond any experience they've had on any other PlayStation platform. Jim Ryan's excited obviously for his next PlayStation experience, but are you? We're curious to know what you think. Are you ready to spend another $400, $500, $600 when it comes to the PlayStation 5? I can't see it being another $600 like the PlayStation 3. That was just a disaster. Maybe somewhere in around the $300, $400 mark? Probably closer to $400, I would expect. $500 tops, depending on which model. Are they gonna have two models? There's still so many questions we don't know about. But 2020 is gonna be an interesting year.
Fortnite on the decline? I don't know about that. This year, microtransactions in Fortnite are declining. Since the beginning of 2019, they failed to reach over $100 million in generated revenue since up until September, which is way off from what they did last year. But don't be too panicked, because actually in the industry right now, Fortnite's still one of the leaders as far as microtransactions are concerned. They actually hold 5% of the entire market share when games like FIFA 20, Madden NFL 20, and Destiny 2 only hold 2% combined. So I wouldn't get too worried about those numbers, but there's something to be said about that. We're getting into an area now where everybody's got loot boxes, battle passes, one-off booster packs, things like that. And the microtransactions are starting to saturate the market, and people probably just don't want to spend as much money on microtransactions anymore. So as far as Fortnite's concerned, do they need to change it up a bit to try to bring those numbers back up, or do you think they're going to be okay with just kind of riding with what they got? You should head over onto the website and check it out, and hit us up and let us know what you guys think.
So this one bit of news might not come as such a surprise for some. Hideo Kojima and Kojima Productions, his company, they want to try their hand at making some movies. So everybody who's played their games knows this is not that much of a stretch. All those Metal Gear cutscenes formulated into something really big, a nice big project. It's gonna be cool.
So we got some staggering numbers from the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, we're talking about the Super Smash Bros. Series. This fighting game is the most sold fighting game series of all time, selling over 53 million copies total. This is pretty amazing because there are some crazy big series like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat that are some big contenders, but Smash Bros. Continues to kill it.
All right, Scott, it's Call of Duty week, and we got the single-player campaign.
You've done it, Sergeant. On your feet, we are leaving!
Scott, you and I jumped into Call of Duty Modern Warfare's single-player campaign. Nate and Cory got the multiplayer covered. They finally brought it back.
Yes,
Last year they went away with it. This year, it's back.
They finally listened to the fans, and I guess the big backlash from
Yeah.
Black Ops 4.
Woo.
I'm always down for that single-player experience, and for Call of Duty, that's where my enjoyment always is. I really liked Infinite, and
Okay.
even though a lot of people didn't, but it was the single player there that really set that one up. So this game, back into Modern Warfare, it's a little bit of what we already know, a little bit of something new,
Kinda.
and boy, does it look amazing.
Well, it's absolutely stunning. There's no doubt about that. I was blown away visually. The best time to play this are the nighttime scenes within the
Yeah.
game. That's where, most times in nighttime scenes, I don't like them, but Call of Duty shine. When it came to dark, man, it was awesome. It was that tension. Remember back in Call of Duty when we had that sniper mission, you're in the ghillie suit, you got the tanks rolling by you, right?
Oh,
The
yeah.
original, right? Well, that's how I got this feeling when I played on a single player campaign. And I was like blown away. I couldn't believe how well it was done. I am glad they brought it back. I'm super pumped. It looks fantastic. The audio is incredible. The story itself,
yeah.
I thought, was so intriguing. And it was, people are talking about this campaign.
They are. Now the way it looks, I want to touch on that because going back to these other games where they go night vision and it gets all green, you somehow lose the graphical fidelity or the resolution just
It's
drops.
like a graininess, right?
Yeah. Now in this game though, I found that didn't even come up. It was
No.
everything looked still just crisp and smooth. Now I am on an S, rip my X. I'm on a 4K TV though, so I'm getting the experience and it looks amazing. All the smoke and debris. When you're clearing that house, a nice change of pace.
Yes.
All the smoke and all the clatter from gunfire.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Production-wise, they nailed this. The
Absolutely.
audio. Hearing everybody through all these different doors and stuff,
man,
all these
so good.
bickering and gunshots and everybody goes quiet.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. The atmosphere was perfect.
I love going through the forest and the way the lighting hits and shines through the forest.
Oh yeah.
Man, there's so many different shadows and atmosphere there. It was phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. But I want to talk about the campaign, the story itself behind the latest Modern Warfare, because it is one that kind of had me at moments put the controller down.
Yeah.
Because I was blown away at the direction they took it. And you know what? Good on Infinity Ward for going this far, taking the distance and going, you know what? This is our story. And this is how we're going to tell it. Man, like I get goosebumps already.
A little bit of a warning at the start. Whenever you start the
Wow.
game up, you
Yeah.
have to say, yes, I'm okay with this graphic content. There's going to be a lot of mature themes, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
they set the tone, they kind of let you know, but I wasn't expecting it to get as dark as it did.
There are some moments in the game I was just like, wow, you really did this part? You really took me to this scene? You want me to play as this character in this moment? Are you crazy? But man, it was so good.
It's
to
so
play.
rewarding now.
It is, but the warning is there. So honestly, if you're not ready for this kind of adventure and this sense of graphical content, because there are certain moments, I'm warning you right now, don't do it. Because there's going to take you some places. And as I said, good on them for making it there, but it is clear right from the beginning, if you don't like it, don't do it.
We are Al-Qatala. We are the killers. We fight without sorrow. We wage war without sympathy. This is the only way to live and die a true soldier.
So in some of these scenes, they bring out a lot of this dark humanity and you're faced with some choices, but I really like how they kind of made the dialogue branching or the missions branching.
Sure.
That you get a different experience depending on how you kind of go through these scenes when they're presented to you. And I thought that was nice and it changes the pace of my experience versus yours.
Yeah, absolutely. There was one scenario that played out that you went one way and I went the other. And for the first time, and something I don't do very often, I actually went back into the game after completing the campaign to do that mission again so I could do the other option.
See just how evil I got.
Exactly, yeah, because I took the good side and he didn't.
No.
Shocker. One of the features that are there for Call of Duty Modern Warfare is co-op, but it's presented a little differently. I was kind of expecting co-op for the campaign side of things.
Would have been nice.
Would have been, because it's only in the multiplayer only. And then if you want to play with your friends, co-op kind of campaign style, that goes after the actual campaign's been completed with the multiplayer side again.
Everybody-
Not split screen.
Nah,
couch co-op.
no split screen, no couch co-op. Everybody has to have their own setup to bring to the party.
Which is kind of disappointing because I was looking for that Spec Ops experience on the couch again. We did that years ago. I was hoping that was coming back, but the only way to do that Spec Ops play mode is online. All right, Scott, let's score up the latest Call of Duty Modern Warfare, coming back with a campaign just for us, buddy, just us.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, I can't hide that I enjoyed it.
No,
This campaign
for sure.
was such just a never-ending cascade of really good missions, one after the other, and the change of pace, the difficulty being there, and just all these different elements all came together so well for me. The cinematics were just blowing me away, lifelike visions. So I have to give this one an 8.5. Campaign only though, 8.5.
Fair enough. I'm right there with you. I thought the game was fantastic. To have the campaign back and at its fullest, it's that blockbuster experience with some controversial experiences as well within the game. Makes you really think. I'm still thinking about the campaign, which kind of doesn't really happen very often. Once you finish a game, you move on to the next. But this is one I kind of keep lingering back on. I'm there with a 9.
This iteration of Modern Warfare confirmed that Call of Duty is still kicking. Amazing visuals and a deep, dark storyline makes for a standout single-player experience.
More explosives, Hadir?
Scott, you and I are going with some VR ninja slicing.
Drew, we had a chance to take a look at Sorento Vr. Now this is on the Vive port. They have a new system that they're pushing out.
Yep.
So we thought we'd jump on, try out a couple of games. Sorento, big standout. So what did you think about this one?
Okay, so I love ninja stealth games, and I kind of thought maybe we'd kind of get this experience, but it's not really as stealthy as I thought. It's more like
No.
ninja slicing and dicing, like Ninja Gaiden, right?
Yeah.
But dude, that is the sickest part about this game. You have 2 swords that allow you to literally use parkour to run off of walls and drop to the ground and slice these guys in half, and it is one of the coolest experiences I've had. One of the sickest experiences I've had as well, because I came like this close to being sick because there's a lot of movement going on, and it does not have that focus. When you're playing these VR experiences, they'll kind of hone in your vision a little bit, so it stops you, prevents you from getting that motion sickness. Not in this one, dude. It is wide open, and when you move, you are moving a lot, and it's quick pace, right? It's fast, it's constant action, and because you're moving forward, you're not on rails either. You're bouncing around, but it allows you then to glide off of like one instance to the
so
next.
many different
and double-
maneuvers you
Oh,
can do.
So cool. I
So
just
you're
wish I
this-
didn't get so sick.
Yeah, exactly. You're this tiny ninja character, and you're jumping around, and you've got guns. You have a bow if you choose it. You have this ginormous shuriken looking thing, and then swords. So you can kind of make up your class however you like to, but it is a lot of fast-paced movement. It's not a rail shooter at all, and it's also not stealthy at all. You can kind of stealth through with the bow. I was nailing some really nice long headshots that I'll try and play right now for you, but it was hard to get anything other than a couple sections stealth-wise. But the motion sickness sets in. I played maybe 2 or 3 missions at a time to kind of alleviate that, and I found that when I first started the game up, it was a little bit extra buggy. It was a little extra stuttery. I was getting clipping issues. Sometimes it would just straight up drop me into like the Oculus Forest where it's just loading screen.
Really?
That was happening to me a lot, yeah. So I'm not sure if it's just the Vive port that's bringing it to us or if it's the game itself that has these issues. But if you get past that, if you get
into the game,
set it all aside, and you get into the gameplay, there's a lot there to reward you. This campaign brings you through some missions, and other than that, you have like a quick play menu. You can kind of jump in and do a couple missions. Now, there's a problem there because when I'm trying to kill this campaign and I only have a couple levels at a time to sit through that I can stomach, it gets really cumbersome to hit a wall and then it makes you do the side missions. It just kind of takes a break. It tells you that you can't do the campaign right now. Do 3 or 4 different missions to catch up. And that was just so frustrating to me because I was in for the story. I started getting hooked into this.
I enjoyed the story
about all these cyber assassins and these crazy corporations. It was really cool, but they kind of put some roadblocks in the way.
Yeah, they certainly did. They got it set in this futuristic kind of neon Tokyo setting, right? Which I really like the setting of the world and how the story starts to unfold. I really enjoyed the story, but I couldn't get past the fact that the motion sickness on this game just kept hitting me after and after again, over and over. And I was able to get, like you say, you play a couple missions and then, dude, the minute I took off the headset is when I really felt the motion sickness. I was able to play the first 3 okay. By the end of the 3rd, I'm starting to kind of get this little woozy feeling. I'm like, take it off, and then I was done.
No, and after that, then it starts to drip feed you the missions too. So each time you come back, it's going to be one mission you're doing at a time before this kind of sets in. And there's some things that you can do with the gameplay to try and mitigate this. I know you love the sword, and I do too. As soon as I selected those swords and dove in, I was doing all different kinds of maneuvers. I was wall running to drop right on somebody. I was jumping up so that you can hit the ground and do a little duck and you slide. That was awesome because you're just cutting through rows of guys. But it was really good. But if you're going to be that ninja with melee weapons, it's really especially hard on your stomach.
It is, but that's where this thing for me really shone the most, was the ability to, you could do this double jump, and as you said, you kind of go in this glide and you slide. And I could take out 2, 3 of these guys at once just by dropping to my knees and then slicing both of them. Or for some reason, they have guns. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So they're shooting bullets. Dude, I feel like I'm a lightsaber. And I'm just deflecting all these bullets. It is so cool. I had a great time, but it's the motion sickness where it really just kind of drops me out of this game.
Well, and there's a couple things that these characters that you're fighting against, there's very rarely a unique enemy or somebody from the story that you come across. Although you do, and there's some unique characters, and there's some cool fights, but it's a very repetitive kind of set of so many different units. I think there's maybe 4 or 5 different variants. It's very low, and you'll see the same guys all the time patrolling with their samurai hats and their shotguns. It's a little confusing, but this Neon Tokyo, I love those levels. That's where I was jumping around and wall running, exploring little edges. I was trying to find more of a game than was actually even there because I enjoyed those locations so much.
Scott, our motion sickness slicing and dicing is over. What do you score in Sorento?
So I had a good time with this game. It let me live out that ninja assassin role that I've always kind of wanted, and I'm still accepting any job offers. But I have to give this one, just because of the slight issues that we had and the slight repetitive, I got to take a couple knocks off it. This one is getting a 7 from me.
You know what? I'm right there as well. This game has some of the coolest moments I've ever experienced in a VR title. The ability to use 2 swords and slice these guys is something I've never had the pleasure of actually doing. So this is really cool in a VR experience, but there's so many other issues with motion sickness, repetitive AI characters you're going up against. Voice acting is decent, but it's not enough to kind of get it over that other elevation you kind of want it to the next level. So I'm there with the 7 as well.
A wicked, fast-paced assassination game. Awesome settings and action hindered only by VR sickness from long play.
All right, so I got to talk about the latest love story game, A Fold Apart with Mark. Check this out.
All right, so I'm here with Mark from Lightning Rod Games, one of the developers from A Fold Apart. So what can you tell me about this kind of new puzzler game that's coming out?
Yeah, so Fold Apart is a puzzle game about a long-distance relationship in a world of folding paper.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So what makes this kind of unique in comparison to other puzzlers that are out there?
So the big thing that's unique is kind of on 2 different axes. So the gameplay is unique in the sense that it's a puzzle game about a long-distance relationship, or a puzzle game about paper folding. Okay. And so every puzzle in the game has 2 sides like a piece of paper, and so you can fold and merge the 2 sides together. And then the story is also unique because it's about a long-distance relationship, which is not something you really see in games very often. So.
Okay, so it kind of sounds like there might be a little personal influence with the story, so we want to maybe touch up on that?
Sure, yeah. So it's inspired by my own experience with a long-distance relationship.
Okay.
So before founding Lightning Rod Games, I was working at Disney Interactive in California.
Okay.
And my significant other was living in Orangeville, Ontario.
Oh, wow.
For about a year and a half. We were
That's
living
long
apart.
distance.
It's pretty long distance, yeah. So I really wanted to make a game that kind of explored those emotions of being apart from someone that you care about.
Oh, that's really cool. I did a long distance for a few years too, so I can actually relate. This is pretty, this seems like a really cool game.
Cool, thank you.
So how long have you been working in the video game industry? Because you said you worked for Disney Interactive.
I did, yeah.
Right?
So I've been in the industry since 2009. So 10 years
wow.
now. Yeah.
10 years, that's a long time. So coming from there to here, you know, what were some of the steps? Like, what did you start at when you were started?
This is okay. I was kind of all over. So I started out in the West Coast in Vancouver. And so my very, very first job was doing QA testing for Propaganda Games, which was a Disney-owned studio in Vancouver at the time. And so I worked in QA, and then unfortunately the game I was working on got canceled pretty early. And so I kind of tried to see if I could find other design jobs. I worked a couple of smaller studios in Vancouver, and then ultimately I was trying to find work again. So within the first year I was laid off twice. So that was my introduction to the gaming industry. And I was trying to find something else. So I applied to a bunch of places in Canada and one place in the States, which was Disney in California, because I really liked the environment while I was working at Propaganda. So I was like, that'd be really cool to work for Disney as a game designer. So I ended up getting the job there, and I moved down there, and that was what started the kind of long distance.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Okay, so that to say, if you're trying to get into the video game industry, don't give up, because it clearly pays off.
Absolutely,
in the end, so.
There's lots of different avenues to get in there. So.
Oh, that's awesome. So how many people do you have working for you, or working on
There's
Lightning
5
Rod
people on the
Games?
team. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's myself and my co-founder Steven. So I mostly do game design. Steven is our main tech lead. And then we also have our art director Stephanie, our animator David, and another programmer named Ryan.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and then the audio, the audio is actually being done by a team in Vancouver called Power Up Audio.
Okay.
And so they're a team that worked on Celeste and Cryptid and Necrodancer.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Celeste had probably one of my favorite soundtracks, so that's pretty cool. So what kind of struggles did you face, creating the game on Apple Arcade versus, where it's coming next?
Right. So I mean, Apple working on Apple devices is really cool because it allowed us to implement touch controls, which I thought works really well with the paper folding. That was like one of the main reasons when we had the opportunity to do it for Apple Arcade. We were like, oh, this is sweet. it's going to be a new way to play the game, and it works really, really well with the gameplay. So that was our really big thing that we're excited about.
Okay, and then seeing it come to the Switch too with the touchscreen again. So that's
I think the Switch, the part about the Switch I'm most excited about is because all the puzzles are kind of like standalone. Like you can kind of take breaks between. We have checkpoints between every puzzle, so it works really well when you're taking it.
Yeah, that's
on the
perfect.
Switch. Yeah.
Very much like a game kind of just pick up on the go.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome, man. Well, thanks a lot for your time. So when exactly can we see this game come out?
It's going to be out within the next month or two on Apple Arcade. So.
Oh, okay, awesome. Well, thanks again, Mark.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Modern Warfare is out, Nate. Drew and Scot got to tackle the single player. Me and you get to hop into the multiplayer. Yes.
All right, dude. So we got into the Call of Duty multiplayer.
We did.
For Modern Warfare, of course. And, you know, we're the COD guys.
Yes.
I've played every COD since Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yeah, I've only missed a couple. I've only missed a couple, but I'm you know, through and through a COD fan, 100%.
And like through and through, TDM all the way. That's our jam. So hopping into this, I really liked it, man. I was pleasantly surprised with the experience.
Yeah, you know what? We got a kind of an early taste with the beta about a month and a bit ago now, and we got to, you know, test out a couple of the new maps and just kind of got a general sense on how this game's gonna feel upon release. And now that we got our hands on it, let me tell you, I said it back when we played the beta, but now I feel a lot more confident saying it now. This does feel like a COD game that I was used to playing, you know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I'm not saying that is a bad thing. That's when the COD games, that's when I was addicted to COD. I'd come home and I'd play COD till I went to bed. I'd stay up all night. You know, it was one of those things where it really hooked me right away. And this multiplayer just kind of really brought me back to that. It felt the same way. Obviously, we're playing different maps. Everything looks different. By the way, this game looks beautiful. I thought the environments, all the maps, the weapons, the way the guns sound, everything in this game that they brought into this looked really polished.
Polished. That's just like Call of Duty's always been polished, but every year it seems like they continue to like just make
a little bit of tweaks,
right? So okay, let's talk about the game modes. We got all the same kind of thing, except for we have realism mode. Now, it used to be called hardcore mode.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different now. I hopped into that a bit, but I'm not.
I was never huge into the hardcore because honestly, I was probably never hardcore enough to be good at it, but it is definitely a fun style of game mode, and the fact that they kind of brought it back, but they tweaked it a little bit this time around. It's not the exact same setup as hardcore used to be, and plus we actually get like a night vision mode as well, which also has a reduced heads-up display and that kind of thing. And the night vision in this game is like
cool.
The guys touched on it in the single player. I know there's quite a bit of night vision there, but in the multiplayer, there's a night vision game mode, and you can play the entire round at night. And let me tell you, like, it's hard to play during the day sometimes, but at night, it's tough.
Oh, absolutely, man. Like, there's a lot of times where, like, kind of like most CODs, if you're looking down somewhere pretty far and like someone's just crouching in the bush, you just get smashed.
Oh yeah, you don't see it.
And in the night mode, it's a little more like that, but there's nothing wrong with it. Honestly, I thought it was a great just addition to the multiplayer.
Well, it's one of those things you didn't quite necessarily expect when you hop in, especially when you're looking at the list of game modes, because we see all these game modes that we're used to. You know, our domination, we've got headquarters,
Search and Destroy.
yeah, search and destroy, classic one. New one though, gunfight.
This is, I think, this is the highlight for me in the multiplayer.
So this is kind of a whole new game mode we've never seen before in a COD game, and it's a 2v2 kind of 3-lane, small, I would almost say like speedball, paintball style arenas, most of these, right? There's a couple outdoor maps, but for the most part, the kind of indoor built-in ones, you know, feel like a paintball arena.
Yeah, man, it's tight quarters, it's evenly balanced because every 2 rounds, your loadout switches. So both teams start with the same
2
loadout.
weapons, yeah.
So whether it's shotguns and pistols with throwing knives, or like a sniper rifles, or pistols and fists.
Pistols and fists, yeah, I know.
So I just, for me, this is where this game absolutely shines. I could see this getting quite competitive. Hopefully
For
in the future,
sure. Because it has a 6-round kind of layout. So you have to, the first team to win 6 rounds goes ahead and wins the entire match.
And it's elimination. So.
Exactly. And these are quick rounds. Like, you see the guy right from spawn, so you're going after him right away. And it doesn't take much to get killed in this game mode either. But let me tell you, like, there's this competitive aspect to it that I can just see this is gonna get taken a little bit farther. You see some of the popular streamers playing this game and playing this particular game mode, and you can see how competitive this style of gameplay can be. And it's like, I could see this going somewhere with this game mode.
Oh, totally, 100%. And in future Call of Duties, yes.
Oh, Gunfight,
I don't think
please.
we're gonna get another blackout where it just is not there anymore, but I love Gunfight.
Yeah, Gunfight's great.
Dude, one of the most negative things I could probably say, and really the only one, is that the maps, for me personally, they're not necessarily bad, but there just weren't as many memorable maps. There's a couple maps that are good, but man, back in like Black Ops, when you get firing range. You always remember firing range because it's just like this staple of COD. And I'm not complaining that they didn't bring back all these old maps, which we might get for free.
Oh yeah.
Right? So it just, that's the one thing it was lacking. Just a couple of the maps, it was just a Camp Central, which I thought...
It's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah.
But that's probably my biggest thing.
And you know what? And it's one of those things where we're getting these COD maps, and yeah, we always have those memorable maps, but maybe we don't have them yet because we don't know which one is that map yet. You know what I mean? But again, it's one of those things where you kind of wish it grabs you right away, like you knew this is going to be your map. This is the map that you're going to dominate. You know the spots already, that kind of thing. So maybe for us, it's just a little more working through this. But again, there's a few more maps to discover on this because we have another new game mode, and we'll say new, it's just kind of changed from what it used to be. We have a ground war, which pots, I believe, 32-32, and it is wild. Like you think Battlefield, gigantic, you know, lots of people going on, but that's a bit of a slower paced game. And then you throw this kind of fast paced COD into this style of gameplay on this map with tanks,
helicopters, kill streaks.
Yeah.
So all I suggest is if you're gonna play this mode, you just turn off that little audio cue, because for the entirety of the match, you will hear nothing but personal radar launch, personal radar, UAV, airstrike. It's actually overwhelming.
Yeah, it's busy.
And that's kind of what this game mode, for me, is in a nutshell, is overwhelming. It's not really my cup of tea. It's just really big and chaotic and fast, and I like just the classic kind of.
Yeah, it's an interesting take to see how they want to kind of adapt the COD gameplay into a larger scale and a larger match. We'll see how this one pans out through the entirety. They've already released a new map for Ground War, also a new map for just the regular multiplayer maps, or
honestly,
multiplayer rotation.
It's probably my new favorite map.
It's actually a really good map.
This last thing I'm going to touch up on is that they've promised lots of new free stuff. No season pass, no loot boxes. There's a little bit of a rumor talking about 38 maps coming for free, which I don't even care if we get half that. That is amazing.
That is good.
So just Activision and Call of Duty franchise as a whole have listened this time around, I think, through and through what Drew and Scott talked about, the campaign, and now us about this awesome multiplayer experience.
Yeah, we've got to score this one just on the multiplayer and what we've experienced. What do you got to score it?
All right, so I've already gossed a lot about it, but graphically, the audio of the game, just the feel of the game, and the new gunfight mode. Oh, 9 out of 10, man.
You're right there. You know what? I'm right there with you because, like I said, it's this nostalgia that I want to play. I want to get hooked. And right now, this game's got me. I'm having a blast. I love the new game modes, the way this game looks, plays, feels. It's everything I think a COD player wants it to be. I'm right there with you with a 9. Call of Duty Modern Warfare's multiplayer is your classic COD experience. The new 2v2 gunfight game mode is fast-paced and will keep you on your toes. The large-scale ground war game mode is a nice new addition as well. Fans of the COD online experience will really enjoy this new installation.
All right, dude, we're freezing, we're lonely, and we're surviving. Let's head into the long dark.
I've learned to hear the difference between something quiet and something abandoned.
Nate, you and I jumped into the long dark from Hinterland Studios. What'd you think?
Man, it was cold. It was a cold, lonely experience, kind of like I said in the intro, man.
Yeah.
But it was good.
It was a bitter experience, I gotta be honest, because man, at the beginning of this thing, I died and died. Like, I got mad, dude. I was getting so frustrated at the very start of the game. And that's, honestly, I get it, because it's all about these two people coming together, and then you lose the one person in this plane crash out in the wilderness in the frozen cold. So you're out then to pick up all the pieces and survive. And I love the ability and the survivability of the game itself. I think that tactic is really cool because a lot of games now are focused, like you can play the Ark, for example, right? Or Conan, the Exiles, where you go out and you just kind of hack away, grab some materials, come back, and then you build your base, or stuff like that. So they've taken a different experience for that survival side of things and made it that you need to get assets, you need to get cloth, you need to have a fire because you're in the freezing cold.
And man, time is of the essence with just about everything. So if it's freezing cold and there's, let's say, a stick on the ground, if you don't have a hatchet, it'll tell you it takes 23 minutes or 30 minutes to break this down to get 3 little pieces of wood.
Well, that's it, yeah.
Just everything in this game, it's all, you gotta be very, just gotta plan ahead.
You have to plan, right? There's a lot of kind of minute, kind of little things you got, little details you gotta pay attention to, because when you leave a building, you're now out in the wilderness, which is gonna drop your cold, and now you're getting hungry, now you're getting tired, you need water, so you gotta prepare for your adventure ahead when you're progressing out within the campaign. And honestly, once I gathered my resources enough and kind of got my bearings of the game, I really kind of started to dig all these survival elements, going, okay, I gotta get this with me, I gotta prepare, I have to have food, I gotta stalk some old lady, which is kind of, we'll get to this. But you gotta have enough materials that you know if you're gonna go from point A to point B, that you're gonna be able to survive that distance and keep warm and make sure you make it there unless a wolf gets you, because dude, I got eaten.
Oh man, yeah, so the elements of this game, kind of like we said, the wolves, they're pretty ruthless, and kind of sorry to touch up on something, there are difficulty settings.
Sure.
So I put it on the easiest to kind of get that full experience without the, you know, the
headache?
Ruthlessness of the survivability of the game, because this game is still tough on easy.
I was on normal.
And
it was crushing. Seriously, it was crushing.
But like you said, once you get into the rhythm of things and you kind of figure out what materials you need to bring out with you, because weight is a huge thing. You're only allowed to carry, 30 kilograms, let's say.
Yep.
And if you get over encumbered, yes, you can walk, but you cannot walk fast, and you can't.
It's like you're crawling. There's not. You're not walking. You're crawling at that point. But the problem is, okay, I want to talk about the audio, because there's certain elements in the game that audio is fantastic.
Yes.
The howling of the wind, honestly, it makes you feel like you're bitter cold.
Yes.
I think that was great. But when you become over encumbered with so much stuff, it sounds like I got just a bunch of pots and pans dangling around.
I kind of like that.
Oh man, I found it so annoying. Cling, 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 cling. I'm just like, you got really.
it.
Oh man,
honestly.
I found it so annoying. Cling, 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 cling. I'm just like, you got really come on.
Yeah, you gotta. The heavier you are, the more crap you're carrying.
I get that part, but I don't have a bunch of pots and pans dangling around me.
Okay, well
Like,
that's fair. I was always carrying a pot on me.
I have one pot, but it doesn't make it like I got 10 of them on me. It was weird for that little audio cue. Kind of bothered me, but the rest of the game I thought was really good. Nate, The Long Dark's got a great start to it. We're 3 episodes in. The first episode we're just wrapping up on, but I found it had a slow start to the game. Once you're able to gather yourself up, even that was a bit of a process.
Oh, yeah.
And to get past that, get that sense of loneliness is great, but it was so slow just to get to that part, to get into town, to meet this little old lady, Grey Mother, who seems to really just kind of drag the story along and ask you to do things to help her, which is great, because that helps you explore and understand more of the world, but it's just
a little dry, honestly.
It is dry. Like a lot of the time, it's really got some dry moments in there, man.
And honestly, for me, 2 of the conversations, because you don't have a lot of conversations in this game.
No.
2 of the times, my audio cut out.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't have my subtitles on.
Yeah,
so I was pretty frustrated because I missed out on an entire chunk of thing that I had to listen to. And like you know, she is very slow to talk.
Very quiet.
And unfortunately, there was just a few more kind of just janky things with this game. It's polished, but it's not.
You're on the OG.
Yeah, so I'm on the Xbox One S.
S, okay. I got the X, so I didn't experience those.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that issue. I just found the character to be a little dry
Yes.
and painful to talk to stretch out her conversation at times, right? So you're just kind of there to help her, but at the same time, I'm like, just spit it.
Blizzard just swept through town after the power went out. As for help, you won't find any out there. You're on your own. We both are.
All in all, Nate, Long Dark, episode 1. What are you scoring this one?
So this is a little bit of a long shot, but all in all, I liked it. The
Yep.
graphics, they were good at times. The audio was really cool and just, I don't know, the story did draw me in.
Sure.
Although it did have a slow start. So 7.5 for me, man.
That's good. It's okay, it's not bad. I get where you're coming from. I appreciate the art style. The audio, I think, was probably the best part and the most that shined through this, even though I didn't like the clunky, overcumbered audio. But besides that, some of the story was just long and painful to get to. So for me, I'm there with the 6.5.
All right. The Long Dark is a lonely survival, chill to the bone experience that at moments really captivates the true feeling of being alone and cold. The story unfolds slightly slow but is portrayed in a way that keeps you trotting through the dark. The audio is where the game really shines, setting the atmosphere and making this game a fun survival experience.
Now the guys and I love our Siege, and this week we jumped into Doctor's Curse to check it out.
Outwit, outlast.
And you can reinforce one wall. Alright, so let's
You can reinforce the wall. Really?
yeah. So they're inbound now.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, so we much better.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, I just got busted. Oh, now I'm busted.
Oh.
Oh man, I'm dead already. That was quick. Whoa. Oh man. That's deadly.
Right near me. They're everywhere.
I see dead people.
Oh my god. Nate. How many does he just get 3 uses for the line? Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's infinite uses of everything.
Oh man. You got a minute to go.
Oh no!
Oh Scott! Oh!
Got me. Oh, he's got a cardiac sensor too.
Oh Nate.
30 seconds.
Nice.
Fear becomes you. 15 seconds. Five.
Oh man.
4. 3.
Wow, he used that instantly.
The gates are open.
Yeah, man, my heart's beating. Oh.
Spooky.
Alright, we're in.
Let's go.
Oh, really? Oh, he's throwing them already.
Oh, I found 2.
Get him.
Just when they thought they were almost free.
Good job.
They won't stay
Coming.
dead.
Oh, wow. Man. Wreck those guys in a hurry. Woo.
That was awesome.
That was so fast. Oh, you gotta be quick when you're putting these things down.
Alright, where's Nate? Nate, I'm gonna pair with you and throw a bunch of Legion stuff everywhere you put Capcan mines. Oh no.
Oh man, I busted myself already.
Ah, I died.
Oh no! Oh man!
Oh, guys.
What? I was setting my trap. I was setting my trap, and he hit me already. I was like, holy.
I noobed around.
He went right back to the same spot. Is it always the same level?
Yeah.
Oh no. I love the run.
Oh,
Charlie.
yeah, he did.
You have been
Yes, I
spotted.
got one.
Nice.
Take it. Yeah, that's
3 seconds remain.
Oh no! Oh wow! Oh, I can hear them.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Thing is, with the defender,
Oh, they're.
you're slower than an attacker.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no!
No mere mortal can resist
Oh my goodness! Just run!
of the scanner.
Run! Oh my god!
Look for Capcan mines.
Hit it! Hit your thing! Hit your thing!
That's the worst.
15 seconds.
He's trapped.
remaining.
Oh, come on! No, it's.
Oh!
You can make a break for it with that.
No way.
Yeah.
5
He's gonna get it.
seconds
He's got it.
remaining.
Yeah!
Oh! Oh! Right through the wall! Oh my god! That was too.
I believe he did it.
Oh, that's awful. There's seconds left.
That's great. We're clutching that, man.
There we go. Nice. Steve, use your thing.
What thing?
Hit RB, Steve. There we go. Good job, good job.
Oh, right above us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
That's what it's like. Mine's recharging. I couldn't do it. But I can now.
I got him right here, guys.
Yeah, I see it. There's two here.
The monsters were
Got
down
one.
to 1.
Oh! Did we get him?
Oh, we got him.
Alright, I got 10 health
1
left.
minute left.
Alright, we gotta find the last one. Who's Pulse? That's it, Steve. There you go. Nice.
Nice.
He's on the move. He's on the move. Oh, I got him down here.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he's right here. He's right here.
The midnight hour is close at hand.
Oh, there he is. Get him, get him, get him. We're all on top of him. We're all chasing him down.
Oh. There it is, boys. Good job.
Nice. Not going in the front door. I'm going left. Ooh, and up the stairs.
Upstairs.
Where? Nice.
Oh yeah, by me.
Oh, I just lost it. Right by you,
Steps.
Oh, I got
I got
you.
hit by
Oh,
so many
man.
Oh,
What the heck happened there?
they just unloaded everything they have up.
Watch it. Oh, that hurt too.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Count getting mine here, Steve.
Ah!
60 seconds remain.
Oh, man, oh, man. Oh, they're throwing everything here. But they all gotta be right in here or something.
Yeah, that's the room I died at.
Oh, I just missed one.
There's one right
There.
there.
Oh, Steve hit him.
Nice job,
Nice.
Steve. Downstairs, downstairs. Your way, Nate.
Half a minute remains.
30 seconds. Oh, I was trying to cut him off.
Oh, he's back over here.
Figures.
The world is
Yeah.
such easy prey.
Yeah,
Just, I can't win, man. I give up.
Oh, got me.
Already?
Way every time. Yeah, I put one trap down. The guy saw me put it down. Frost takes a little.
Oh no! Oh man! There's a bunch right there. Ah! Biting my tongue. Oh, he's so screwed. Oh, you landed back onto them! No!
Just
Oh,
dancing
man. He's wow.
1 minute remains.
Lagging, but it was good.
Run, if you must.
Oh, he died.
Oh, he got
If you can.
And again, it's up to Nate. Oh,
Five of the
man.
kin would never rise again.
He knew right where to go, man.
Yeah. I knew it. Oh, my foot beat me too.
There will
Yeah.
be
Like one of the
blood.
clutcher ones.
Oh, I got detected. Running.
Who's the one singing? Who's that girl just singing a lullaby?
Some ghosty in the map. I can't hear it.
Left.
15
Yeah, I
seconds,
really gotta
boys.
change that thing. Let's mute it. I got this.
5 seconds.
Nice.
Long before the screams began.
It's a good way to end it.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Drew, that's another episode in the books. What do you think, man?
Dude, we got a jam-packed episode. We nailed it. Now each and every week, you guys hit us up at InsideTheGame.ca. We're there. You help us end off our episode with one of your highlighted clips. Nate, who do we have this week?
This week, we got Big Papa Fool busting out a couple jukes in Apex Legends. Check out this knockout.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sticking around. And of course, we'll catch you next week inside the game.
Good thing I'm inside the ring. Listen up, I'm getting shot at. Getting some damage over here. Enemy taken out.